The desert was endless, an ocean of golden sand stretching beneath a merciless sun. The air shimmered with heat, and the wind whispered across the dunes, carrying the sound of loneliness. Through that blazing emptiness walked an old man named Isaac. His back was bent, his steps slow, but his spirit was strong. For 3 days, he had wandered the desert with his old camel, searching for a lost water while he once knew in his youth. But that day, fate led him somewhere else entirely. As he trudged forward, leaning on his wooden staff, Isaac heard something faint, a soft, broken sound that didn't belong to the desert. He stopped. The wind howled, but then it came again, a weak moan, like a cry for help. He frowned and followed the sound, his heart beating faster. And then he saw her half buried in the sand lay a young girl, her skin burned by the sun, lips cracked, eyes half closed. Her clothes were torn, her hair tangled, her face pale as death. Isaac dropped his staff and knelt beside her. "Child, can you hear me?" he whispered. The girl barely moved her lips. Without thinking, the old man took the small leather flask from his bag, his last drops of water, and gently poured them onto her mouth. She swallowed weakly, and a single tear rolled down her cheek. "Who did this to you?" he asked softly. Her voice was a whisper, barely carried by the wind. "Bandits, they attacked our caravan. I ran, and they left me to die." Isaac looked around. The desert stretched in every direction, silent and cruel. He knew one truth. If he left her there, she wouldn't live to see the next sunrise. "Hold on, child," he said, lifting her carefully onto his camel. "As long as I live, you will not die." The journey back was brutal. The sun burned like fire, and soon a sandstorm rose from the horizon, roaring like a beast. Isaac wrapped his tattered cloak around the girl, shielding her from the storm. The wind clawed at his face, sand biting his skin, but he didn't stop. His legs shook, his lips bled, yet he kept walking, step after painful step. At last, just as his strength began to fail, he saw it. A small clay hut in the distance, his lonely home that he carried her inside, laid her on a mat, and gave her what little food and water he had left. For 2 days, she slept, hovering between life and death. The old man stayed by her side, changing wet cloths on her forehead, whispering prayers. On the 3rd day, her eyes opened. "Where am I?" she murmured. "You're safe now," Isaac replied with a tired smile. The desert didn't win today. Her name was Amira. Slowly, she began to heal. Isaac learned her story. She was the daughter of a wealthy trader whose caravan was ambushed by bandits. In the chaos, she was thrown from her camel and left behind. Isaac listened quietly, then nodded. "Then you must go home." But she shook her head. "They think I'm dead, and I have nowhere to go." Something in her voice broke his heart. Isaac had lived alone for 20 years, ever since losing his own family in a war. The desert had taken everything from him. But now, for the first time in decades, he felt something he thought was gone. Purpose. The days passed, and the two grew close. He taught her how to find water beneath the sand, how to tell the wind's direction, how to survive the heat. In return, Amira taught him how to smile again. She sang softly in the evenings, her voice filling the empty desert hut with warmth. For a brief moment, life seemed kind again, but fate had not finished testing them. One afternoon, Isaac noticed dust rising on the horizon. Horses. As they drew closer, his heart sank. They were the bandits who had attacked Amira's caravan. They had followed her tracks. "You must go," Isaac said firmly. "Run to the oasis. There are travelers there who can help you." Tears filled her eyes. "No, I won't leave you." He smiled gently. "Child, I am old. My life has already been lived. Yours has just begun." Before she could argue, he handed her a small pouch of water and pointed toward the dunes. "Go, and don't look back." As the bandits approached, Isaac stood in the doorway, leaning on his staff. "Move, old man," one of them barked. "We're looking for a girl." "She's not here," Isaac said calmly. The leader laughed. "Then we'll search your hut anyway." Isaac's eyes hardened. "Take one more step, and you'll regret it." They mocked him, but when they tried to push past, The old man swung his staff with surprising strength, striking one across the face. Chaos erupted. He fought with all he had, old bones, young spirit. He fell once, got back up, and struck again. But there were too many of them. A blade flashed, and Isaac fell to his knees. As his blood touched the sand, he whispered, "Protect her, God, please." When the bandits left, thinking him dead, Amira returned with help, nomads from the nearby oasis. They buried the old man beneath a lone palm tree near his hut. On his grave, Amira placed his wooden staff and whispered through tears, "You saved my life and gave me courage." Years later, travelers passing through the same desert spoke of a woman who rode with a caravan of helpers, rescuing lost souls in the sand. On her necklace hung a tiny piece of old wood, the last fragment of Isaac's staff. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel Vremyo's Story, Time of Stories, for more emotional, powerful tales that remind us goodness still exists in this world. Globe showing Europe, Africa, Red Heart, even in the loneliest desert, kindness blooms. True heroes don't seek glory, they simply do what's right, even when no one's watching. Compassion can outlive death itself.